Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Essential Sports Pod. You know, going over the last week of Cardinal baseball. It has been a great week to be a Cardinals fan. It really has. I'm here with my guys, Gerald and Addison.
How y'all guys doing, man?
Yo,
Doing pretty good, especially with the last 10 to 11-ish games the Cardinals have played, bringing some
Yeah,
joy to myself. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, I mean we're 8-2 in the last 10 games. Gerald, you said we're 9-11 over the last 11 games. I guess if you want to look at it that way.
yeah.
But since last episode, we are 5-1. So we are gonna look at those games um, that we missed. Well, didn't miss. We just didn't record until today. So we're gonna go over those. So yeah. Um, let's start out with the Boston series. How'd you guys see that series? I was actually super excited about that series. So you let me know what you guys think.
Addison, any initial thoughts?
um,
Or you want me to go?
you got it. I'm still pulling up. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember how the thing shook out.
Um, so kind of just from watching the series, like we said, we were kind of excited going into the series because we knew, like we liked the way that the Cardinals played the Red Sox, and with that park, it's very hitter friendly. So I felt like it was a good series for us to kind of continue on the momentum that we had from the Cubs series, and they did exactly that. Um, all of the games, like each had their own little story. Like I think we came back twice out of the three games, from what I remember, just off the top of my head. But yeah, man, it was great. Seeing the offense go off like that, and us getting to Kenley Jansen. Um,
Twice.
Twice, I think, in that was good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he had just came off his 400th career save. So, I guess going into it, you expect him to be lights out, but not against us. Not against us.
You were right about us coming back from behind. In the first game of the series, we were down 5-6, and then got three in the ninth to win it. Um,
Yeah.
and then second game, we were down 3-1 and came back in the ninth again against Jansen again and won 4-3.
Okay, genuinely, boys, I want to say, like wholeheartedly, I'm not like, when are we gonna consider Nolan Gorman an MVP pick? When when's that gonna happen? Because he go for it. And like this series, he came to the Red Sox. Yeah, and he's been doing good all season. Like,
Yeah, he was lagging for me. Yeah, I was hearing that.
mm, no, do I sound better now? Okay, sorry about that. Basically, Nolan Gorman needs to be considered for MVP because the tear that he is on right now, he's looking like one of the best hitters in baseball at 23 years old. So that's all I was saying, you know.
Addison, anything to talk about the Red Sox series?
The Red Sox. I mean, Jared kind of said everything I was thinking about the Red Sox series. It was. I mean, obviously, it was great to see. Um, that coming off of a first series win of the year against Chicago, and then going into a series sweep, especially on the road. I think those were really, really
Yeah.
big deals and big momentum builders as we've seen carry in to the next two series so far, which we'll talk about in a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I think oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
but to address what he was saying about Gorman, I think a lot of people owe me an apology. I'm not keeping tabs per se, but I was out with some coworkers during spring training, and I was saying that we were talking about potential trades, I think, and I was saying that in the grand scheme of things, I think I'd rather hold on to Gorman over Donovan because of
Yeah.
his hitting ability, and everybody was calling me crazy. Everybody was like, "You don't know what you're talking about. You don't
Okay.
know baseball. I can't believe you would say something that crazy. Like Donovan is a Gold Glover. Donovan is this and that and woo woo woo." And I was like, "Yeah, but Gorman's bat offensively, that he is that dude." And so I think I need to be making some phone calls looking for my apologies because
Yeah, and just look at his resume. I mean, he was a top prospect coming into the draft, and then through the minor leagues, he was a top prospect. So he's always had the potential to be exactly what he's doing right now, which is one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah, I mean this. I mean you can only look at so many stats, but I mean the most basic stats, average home run, RBI. I mean he's tied fourth for home runs, and I'm pretty sure he's like maybe one or two off of being second. Um, and
Yeah,
then RBIs, he's tied for fifth, which he's also like four behind being leader. And at one point, he was leading the National League in RBIs.
yeah.
I think it was just for a day, but he's still doing that on his second year. Uh,
He's 23,
yeah,
only 23.
not even his second year, like maybe a year and a half, because he didn't start from
Yeah,
the get go last season. Um,
yeah,
and then he's third in OPS
yeah.
with 1,014. Insane.
And numbers.
So, moving on to the Brewers series. My God, what a beautiful series to watch. Well, even just the first game, uh, just beating our rivals 18-1. Uh, my goodness, how that felt so good. Watching Flaherty, it seemed like he turned back the clock. Pitched 7 innings, only let up 3 hits, which I think one or two of them were in the first inning. Uh, and then he only walked three, and struck out six. Oh wait, no, sorry. He walked two and struck out 10, and he didn't let up a run, which was great to see. Hopefully, he can keep that up. Yeah, that offense plus the pitching is just beautiful to see. Would you guys see that first game?
Hey, I have relocated. I've relocated, so hope.
well, I think what Joe's starting to allude to was Flaherty pitching, and I think that was a really good bounce back performance from when I got to see him against the Angels. Um, obviously getting booed off the mound in that game, coming back, and I don't know, what it was, but I hope he was able to work something out with Contreras because obviously this was Contreras' first game back behind the plate. And I know he had come out and said something about he didn't like Contreras catching for him. Forget exactly the wording he used, but
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with those type of things, there's like a kind of gray area, and you also never know what is true and what is not.
100%.
Because also like, if he did say that, would would Flaherty pitch to him the very first game that he comes back to catcher? Um,
Yeah,
I don't know. Uh,
yeah, I don't know.
Also, there's some speculation that Steven Matz might have said something about Contreras not catching for him because I mean he Kisner is catching today against the Dodgers in the second game, with Contreras going to DH. So yeah,
Okay. I mean, I don't know. But if there was something between Flaherty and Contreras, it seems like they found something that clicked and got through that. So yeah, obviously that 18-1's a really big win for us.
yeah. What I found interesting about that game was that out of anybody who didn't get a hit, it was Contreras, who he recently has been one of the hottest hitters on the Cardinals team.
All right. Yeah, so the 18-1 game, obviously, as a Cardinals fan, is super exciting to have a game like that where the offense can kind of flex, and at the same time, we can still have the pitching on the other side to kind of go with the offense. But yeah, it was a good game. I watched the game. I watched like every at bat, so I was excited the whole time. I don't know about you guys, but I was excited the whole time.
What I was getting at with Addison was that out of anybody in that game, I found it funny that Contreras was one of the two that didn't get a hit that whole game, because he is one of the
Yeah,
hottest hitters right now on the team. Um,
yeah,
but we also got into the conversation of Flaherty saying some words about Contreras catching, but also not knowing if it's fully true and all that. Um, but it
yeah.
was
What'd you guys hear?
well, you know how something came out how Flaherty was the one that said something that he didn't like Contreras catching for him.
Yeah,
Uh, I just think that it might have not been true because you never know what's true and what's not nowadays, unless you hear it from them specifically. Um, so I don't know. I,
yeah.
I wouldn't say he said that, but yeah.
I think it actually came out that he did say that because like recently he came back out and said that he apologized for it, I think.
Oh, did he?
But yeah, like you said, I never really saw the clip of him saying it. So me personally, I don't know like the truth behind it, but I do think that it is true. And I think he said that it was out of frustration mostly, which is understandable, but you can't just publicly throw your teammate under the bus like that, in my opinion. But
Like not just any teammate, your battery partner. Like it's you,
right,
it's you and him controlling this
right,
defense. Like
exactly. And also, even if he tells you to throw a pitch, you're the pitcher, so ultimately you have the decision on what you throw. So
especially
even
this
if you say
season.
he's yeah, if you say he's calling a bad game, well, guess what? You can make an adjustment yourself. How about you go to your best pitches or whatever you have the most feel for? But
Yeah, especially
seems to
this
be the
season with like PitchCom because I mean I know Flaherty isn't on Max Scherzer's level, but at some point in the season I did see Scherzer was calling his own pitches like immediately after throwing one, which was
yeah.
funny to see. But yeah,
Yeah, I think Shohei calls his own pitches. Like he has the pitch comp thing on his arm and he just calls his own pitches. But yeah, you don't have to rely on Contreras to call the whole game, which I think that's kind of what they're used to back there, like having Yachty. But yeah, hopefully they've made the right adjustments. Hopefully it's a thing of the past. It's looked better, obviously. So just gotta hope to keep it up.
well, moving on to the second game of that series, the 3-2 loss against the Brewers. I was super high on this game to be honest. I mean, it seems like every time the Cardinals go crazy on offense, they like just kind of shut down the next game. Um, I don't know why that happens, but I still felt good about this game. Montgomery was pitching this game. That's why I felt pretty good about it. Um, I mean, he did pitch 5.1 innings, only let up 3 runs with 7 Ks and 1 walk. I mean, that's pretty good pitching. I don't. I mean, he could have gone maybe a little longer, but that's how it goes sometimes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
When you watch the game and like it's the first and second inning, they have this thing called Toyota Keys to the game, and pretty much this game for me was death by 1,000 paper cuts because Montgomery pitched very well, and he just had three solo home runs scattered throughout his outing. So um, he pitched well, but like you said, the offense failed to capitalize in a few different situations off the top of my head. I think we had two runners on in the fourth, and then maybe like next in the eighth, and like something around that. So I think we didn't capitalize with runners in scoring position, and that was kind of the theme of the game. But yeah, um, you could offense was still alive. Like we were still taking good at bats. It's just those timely hits didn't happen that game.
Yeah, we did have 7 hits, but it's about putting hits together instead of just every now and then. Yeah,
Yeah,
Addison, would you see that game, man?
Like Joe was saying, I think it's just the three little mistakes that Montgomery had spaced out, and then they brought. Was that the game? Yeah, that was the game they brought in Devin Williams, and Devin Williams is just going to shut you down. Um, I mean, the offense was able to scrape out 2 runs, but um, yeah.
All right.
yeah. Even against Devin Williams, we had opportunities. I think he had a 4-out save, and I think on the last play of the game, it was like a routine line drive to center, and the outfielder misplayed it, and we had two people on base. But like you said, it's Devin Williams. The St. Louis kid.
Can only
Guess
get
he's
so
just
many hits
different.
against them.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Moving on to the last game of that series, I was super excited about this game. But I'm gonna let Addison take this one first. Go ahead, Addison.
I was not excited about this game, honestly. I thought um, I hadn't really seen a lot out of Libator the past few times I've watched him. Last year and then coming up through the minors. I've never really been super impressed by him, but he pitched. What was his? What did he do?
I think he went 5 innings.
Yeah. Where
5 innings,
can I
zero
get that?
runs, 6 Ks, 3 walks.
Yeah. So, very solid performance out of him. Very surprised by that, which was great to see. And then also the offense was able to perform against Corbin Burns, which was another one of my doubts. So, that game was really surprising to me. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, just watching the game, you can tell that Liberatore's been putting in the work to get better. Um, the type of arsenal that he has. He's a lefty. He's like tall, lanky, has a good fastball. And me personally, I don't know if you guys seen his curveball, but it has a lot of break. Like like
That thing is
it's like
nasty.
a bender. Like it's crazy.
It's
But
like a sweeping curve type of thing.
yeah, and it's just like from the lefty too. It's just like that can't be easy to pick up. But yeah, I like what I seen. After this game, they said they're gonna go to a 6-man rotation. So he's here to stay. And I kinda like that because he's still young. He's only 23. Obviously, we haven't like reaped the benefits of the Randy Arozarena trade. We see what Randy's doing. So we have high hopes for Libertor, but I think he uh I think he has something to prove, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was actually super impressed by Liberatore. I loved watching him. It seemed like sometimes he would get behind on the count, and then he would just immediately throw something straight into the zone. Like he wouldn't try and get nasty or anything. He just goes straight back into it, and that's what I
Yeah,
like. I just said like, you threw 2 balls. All right, throw a strike. Like don't matter
yeah,
where it is, just put it in the zone. Like that's what I like.
yeah. You seen him out there working. Like I think it was pretty humid that day. they were like showing certain camera angles of him. He's out there sweating and
Yeah.
his hair is like all over the place, but he's out there working. He he's a hard thrower too. Like his fastball was topping out at 97, 98. And
Yeah.
having a starter like that can control the fastball, and he's a five pitch pitcher, so being able to incorporate all the other pitches in with the fastball that's already plus is good, and definitely reap the benefits that game.
Yeah. Um, moving on
Uh,
to the. Oh, you got something else to say?
yeah, just I want to go to the offense really
Oh,
quickly.
you
I
got it. You
know it
got
was
it.
only I know it was only 3 runs, but Corbin Burns, but Paul DeYoung, man, continues to hit. Like his swing looks good, it looks effortless. He's playing good defense. Like, is this our guy? Like,
Is
what
that
you
your
guys
guy,
think?
Addison?
That's my
Is
guy.
that your guy, Addison? What's up with that?
So
Paul, Big D,
De
Paul.
Paul
Jong,
DeYoung.
De Jong, yeah, he's really he keeps making me eat my own words.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's great to see. Um, I don't know. I'm still skeptical. I'm still. I'm just wait. I'm
Man,
waiting for it. I hope it never comes. I hope the fall off never comes. I hope he gets all stars and goes on to have just a long, prosperous career. Um, but I'm just waiting for it. I know. I feel it coming. I don't feel it coming, but I feel like it's going to come at some point. And yeah,
Okay, we can have a little water bet on the show. How about that? I think he continues it. I'm all in. Love the way the swing looks. Love the demeanor. Love the swagger. Love the defense. I'm all in. I'm back on the Paul DeYoung train.
I'm all
we're
in
back
as
on.
well. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be on it, man. I have
Mhm.
to.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotta ride the wave.
Talking about Paulie. Uh, moving on to the game yesterday. Which we are recording this on Friday. So we did watch the Dodgers game yesterday. With the 16-8 win. My goodness. What a beautiful game,
Crazy game.
especially against Julio Urias, who he
Yeah.
was a top pitcher last season, and he's still top pitcher this season.
Yeah.
Um, we had Wainwright out on the mound. He went 5.2 innings, which was great to see. It seemed like he, I mean, he did give up 2 runs in the first inning, but he did settle in very well. Uh, and 7 home runs, one
7.
seven. Let me say that again. Seven.
7.
7 home runs. De
This is
Jong,
Cardinals baseball.
Gorman had two, Yepes had one, Contreras had two, Arenado had one. Man,
Yeah,
what a beautiful
Contreras
game.
had one with a curtain call too.
Yeah.
That was good to see. Just the whole game overall, man. Like you said, they came out first. It was 2-0. I'm like, uh-oh. Because I texted the group chat and I was like, I'm not really high on this game. Like Wainwright's on the mound, like, you know, his ERA's at 7. But yeah, he allowed that first 2 runs and then he settled down for the next few innings, which was good to see. Always good to see Wayno settle down, but the offense, they came to play. They were not playing out there. Um, 6 runs in the third, and then 3 runs in the fourth. So we went up 9-2, and then um, on their side, Freddie Freeman had his 300 career home run.
Grand slam
One of
too.
the
In grand
yeah, I
fashion.
was I was like, oh brother, but yeah, man, the offense definitely came to play. Mm, it was getting a little bit weird during the middle. Like they took the lead, but then we had our eighth inning where we scored 7 runs. They're like, how about that? You can have that.
Talk about
That's
insurance
Cardinals
runs.
baseball. Yes, talk about insurance.
Addison, what you got to say about this game?
The Dodgers game. Um, admittedly, I was not watching it super intensely because I was watching my Lakers give away a game. Um, but when I panned over during Laker commercial breaks, yeah, obviously the offense was doing its thing. They were really playing. Yeah, I mean, not much I can say on that. They were just playing
Yeah.
really, really well. Just
I
the only thing that um, I would have to say is Genesis Cabrera had a rough outing last night. Um, but I mean, he's been playing pretty well, so I think we could chalk it up to one bad outing if he bounces back. So
yeah.
not it's
I
not
have
super concerning.
I have a few things to say. One, I know the Cardinals like to do this thing where they rely on Genesis Cabrera for a few innings to like eat innings in the middle, but um against a team like the Dodgers, they see a guy, they're gonna hit him well. And the Dodgers, I think it came out that lefties were hitting 119 against Genesis Cabrera, and he gave up a home run to Freeman and Muncy. So, you know, it was kind of a, I guess offense was just in the air last night. Um, but also I want to give huge props to Oscar Mercado. Um, the recent call up, we drafted him 10 years ago. He's played elsewhere, but it was his I don't think it was his debut because he came into the game against the Brewers, but his first day in the starting lineup, he gets 3 hits. I think he had 3 stolen bases, and he had 3 runs. Like
He stole
we
home too.
need, yeah, he stole home. Like he was out there playing very well. I really like the look of him in the outfield, and he's playing again today. So we'll see if he'll be able to build on it. But yeah, give props to Wilson. You know, Wilson was fired up. Which is pretty much the norm, but to see him get that curtain call and bring the energy to the crowd is definitely different to see, but in a good way. Like the crowd was feeding off his energy. So
You
yeah,
definitely need
man.
that energy, and somebody, it don't matter who it is. There's at least one person. It felt like Newt was doing it last season. Contreras is giving it this season, and I love to see that. Um,
Yeah,
with Contreras, I'm so glad he's back at catcher. I really am super glad. I think it's about time he's back, especially now that Gorman is heating up once again. Um,
yeah.
it's time to put Gorman in the everyday lineup. It's a
Oh
DH or
yeah.
second baseman. You can put Edman on the outfield again. I don't care. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to see Contreras back.
Yeah, man. People were talking about how Nolan Gorman can't hit lefties, like, and then he goes out there against one of the best lefties in the National League and homers. Like, he deserves to be an everyday player, no matter what's going on. Put him in a 3 hole, break him up between Goldie and Arenado. Like, he deserves it. He's shown it.
Yeah, something else I wanted to add. Since last episode, our guy Nolan, the other Nolan, Mr.
Oh
Arenado,
yeah,
he homered in 5 straight games. Starting out
yeah,
in that first Boston game. I think I said it on the episode last episode that he was gonna have a monster series, and he did.
yeah.
He hit a home run. Well, he's hit a home run the last. I think one, two, three,
I
four,
think it's
five,
6 out of the last
six.
7.
Yeah, 6 out of the last 7.
Yeah,
Which is insane. And he's
yeah,
also on a 9-game hit streak. So
yeah,
he's definitely bounced back since struggling in April. Um, and yeah, so that's what I got to say.
yeah. I agree with that. I feel like as a Cardinals fan, you can kind of see the breakout happening. Like you can see, he kind of looked uncomfortable at the plate to start the season, which I know Nolan to be a slow starter. But now he's getting his swing right. I think he came out and said that he was having like a sync issues with like his hands and like his feet or something. But yeah, you're seeing it all come to fruition now. And yeah, he's one of the best players in baseball. So he's gonna continue to produce. He's had an RBI in his last 8 games, homered in six of his last seven, still has elite defense. So yeah, just the full package, man.
Addison, you got anything to add?
About Arenado.
Anything that's happened
Um,
last week? Any points you want to bring
uh,
up? I mean, we got Tommy Edman on a 6 game hitting streak, Gorman on a 9 game hitting streak as well. Um, yeah,
I mean, yeah, I think, they really turned it around, and I'm hoping they can continue this momentum. I think, man, it's just about stringing series together, man. Like, you win the series against Chicago, you sweep Boston, win the one against Miami. Like, you've got a tough opponent at the Dodgers that, they swept you last time they played. So you got them at home this time. So, you want to at least win or even sweep that series. And then you're going to Cincinnati, which, is a division rival. So, it's just important that they keep carrying this momentum and just keep playing.
Yeah, with the way the team looks, I kind of do see them carrying the momentum. Maybe not stay as hot as they've been, but um, you kind of start to see like them get back to like last year as far as like winning ways. We won 93 games last season, so performing like that team that we know they can be. They've been doing it. Um, so yeah,
yeah, it's felt like the last 10 games, it's like the team we expected to see from the get go.
yeah, I agree.
And, it's really something to be said for getting hot now rather than coming hot out of the gate. Because teams that were hot are going to start to settle down. Um, but if you can really start building momentum coming into these kind of middle months of the season, like you're going to be really tough. And I wouldn't be surprised to see big swings of the standings
Oh
um,
yeah, for sure.
from us.
Yeah, we were pretty far out of it at one point. I think like 10 games. I think that's kind of shrinked a little bit. I don't really know where the standings are. I can look
We're
really quickly.
6 games back right now.
How many?
6.
Yeah, so you see it coming together. I kind of like how we're getting written off by the national media because of everything we've had going on. Just playing with a chip on our shoulder, man. I think that's what's important. Um, Contreras does that, and it seems to be contagious right now. So just building on it, like Addison said, and going into the dog days of summer with momentum, that could be good.
Yeah. So I think we'll wrap that up on the recap of the series. We're gonna move into our good old confidence meter here. Um, so we're just gonna take a little break and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the confidence meter. Um, Today, we got 4 players that we are highlighting, and we're gonna start out with Matthew Liberatore, who just recently debuted, season debut for the Cardinals. Personally, I'd say I'd give him a 3, 3.5. I don't know. It seems like he's improved. I was definitely impressed when he went out and pitched. I just hope he keeps it up. I fully expect him and Mats to fight for that 5th spot. I don't know if I expect Mats to go down to AAA, especially for him getting paid so much. Um, but hopefully he gets put in the pen or something. So yeah, that's what I got for Liberatore, 3.5.
Yeah, or even more, hopefully, Mets just proves us wrong. Like maybe show why we signed him to that contract. But yeah, like you said, from what I've seen, it looks like Liberatore has made a lot of adjustments. I think watching him last year, I think he would start his counts with off speed more like the curveball, and this year you kind of see him just pouring in that fastball because it looks pretty sharp and it's pretty fast. Like you said, I'm somewhere like 3.5, 4 is just I think the 4 comes from me seeing a new starter in the rotation that looks pretty good and has good stuff. You know, that's kind of something we're lacking, or like that consistency. So if he can be a guy that is gonna bring that consistency, that's gonna be great. And he's still young, so he's still figuring out some things. But in the first start that I've seen, based on the only start that I've seen so far, I might have to say 4 from me.
Um, yeah, I'm feeling. I don't know. It's one good performance. God, I want to have faith in him, but I just have never ever been impressed by what I've seen from Libator. Um, I don't know. I'm feeling like a 2.5, 3. You guys are more optimistic fans than I am. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe I'm a bad fan. I don't know.
he's a former top prospect in the system. He's still only 23, so he has that youngness. He has pitches that are sharp. Um, he's a lefty that's tall and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of things to like about him. Um, but yeah, like I said, he had this outing most recently. He only gave up 3 hits in 5 innings. So if he can stay at a rate like that, then I think we should be getting really high on him. But you know, not trying to jump the gun too much. But I did like what I seen from him.
I feel like I'll reevaluate in a week. I
Yeah,
want to see. I want to see another start.
It is hard to
Um,
yeah,
see after one start, but I mean he has been dealing in AAA.
yeah.
So
He had a he had a like 2.5 ERA, I think, before his last 2 starts in AAA. I think he gave up 4 runs in like 5 innings, and his 2 most recent starts in AAA. So that kind of took his ERA a little bit high, but not even a little bit high. It was
it was like
low threes.
yeah, mid three I
Yeah,
think.
it was 3.13
Yeah.
from what I remember. But yeah, man, he's been good. So let's hope he builds on it.
All right. Moving on to our next player on the list is another pitcher that impressed a lot of people this past week. His name is Jack Flaherty. Uh, I loved what I saw out of him. Pitched 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Um, I don't think it gets any better than that, honestly.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved that. Especially loved how he got that much run support in that game. I'm super confident in Jack, even though he's been kind of slow, especially the start before this one where Addison was at that game. Um, he got booed off the field and it was rough, but this is the way to bounce back right here. Um,
yeah,
so I'm gonna give him a 4. That's where I'll sit at.
yeah. With me, with me, kind of the thing with Jack is, he's kind of a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder, or tries to go out there and play with a swagger and let his stuff kind of um do the talking. But you know, when it's been kind of all over the place this season and for the past few years, it's kind of tough to kind of get in that rhythm. I said rhythm mentally. Um, but yeah, like you said, his last outing, he went 7 and didn't give up any runs. His mom was at the game because it was the day after Mother's Day. So when he got taken out the game, you seen him go over to his mom, give her a kiss, like you know. So I kind of like that for him because when he's going out there and trying to prove guys wrong, and you know, hearing all the stuff that people say about him. He's not an ace. He's fell off. Blah 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 blah. Um, you see him go out there and have a game like that, you just kind of got to be excited for him and hope he can build off of it because we know what he could be. So, like you said, I'll probably say 3.5, 4 because you know I know things are bound to kind of get shaky at some points. He even started the game he just had where he had the 7 innings. He kind of started the first inning kind of rocky, but after that, settle down. So, you know, that's kind of what you get from him. So, yeah, somewhere in the middle, like 3.5, 4.
I'm right there with a four, maybe even a four and a half for me. I think after seeing him, get have a terrible outing against the Angels and then get booed at home was really tough to watch. But I think the way he was able to bounce back really showed me something from
Yeah.
him and just his mentality and something that I don't know if we necessarily seen from him before. Just how
Yeah.
he was a grinder and he just is there to get it done and play good ball. So um,
Yeah.
yeah,
One thing that I've noticed from Jack is he kind of seems like more what's the word for it? Like kind of paying attention to the game, even though even if he's not on the mound. Like I remember seeing in the Boston series when Nolan Gorman hit that home run, he was kind of out of the dugout, walking around with a smile on his face. Kind of looking like the Joker, kind of embracing the villain role, like a Wilson Contreras, which I like that idea. Be embracing being the villain. Uh, it kind of seemed, but yeah, like I said, it kind of seems like he is in like paying attention more to the games and wants to go out there and do good, knows what he needs to do. Um, so yeah, I like what I've seen.
Addison, what was your rating for Flair?
I was at a four or a four and a half.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, moving on to Paul DeYoung. I'm gonna let Addison take this one first. Go ahead.
Well, my answer might surprise you guys because like right now the way he's performing, I'm giving him a four. Four or even a five, honestly.
yeah.
If he keep this up, like
Ooh.
you know,
Paulie D.
yeah, uh, it's great.
Yeah,
But I think it's a huge tentative four or a five. It's like a four or five with an asterisk. Um,
yeah, yeah. See, I'm gonna have to be right there with you, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 5. The sample size is getting longer and longer. We've said we've liked what we've saw, and we've said that for like how long now? A few weeks. The bat's been there. Um, defense has been there. Mentality's been there. Um, you kind of know what you're gonna get from as far as like striking out sometimes and stuff like that. But when he does barrel up balls, they go a long way. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 5. I'm not gonna give him a 5 with a period. I'm gonna give him a 5 with a question mark because we got to see what he gonna do with it. Since I'm putting the confidence in him. But uh, yeah, man, I love what I saw.
Yeah. I'd give him a 4.2. Um, he he has struggled recently a little bit over the last, I
Yeah,
said, 7 games.
yeah,
But there's no better way to bounce back than hitting 2 home runs in 2 games back to back.
right,
Even though he did go 1 for 3 and 1 for 5, it doesn't matter. He gave us that third run against Milwaukee. He added to the 6 home runs that we already had against the Dodgers. Um, and yeah,
yeah,
I like DeYoung. He's great on defense. I kind of I always root for players that been hated on a lot. Just
Yeah,
because
especially
I
by their own
love an
fan base.
underdog. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a big underdog fan. So yeah, I'd go him a 4.2.
Yeah, you kind of just reminded me what I was gonna say. When he first came up, his OPS was above 1,000, and then I think it kind of fell down to low 900s, maybe high 800s. But like you said, hitting 2 home runs in 2 days, it'll definitely bring it right back up. So it's great right now.
All right, and lastly, uh, one of my favorite players on the team, Nolan Arenado. Um, I'm gonna let Gerald take
Of
this one
course,
first.
how can he not be your favorite player, man? He's the GOAT. He's one of the I'm not even gonna say one of the best third basemen. How about the best third baseman in baseball? Um, Confidence has to be at a five. Like 6 home runs in 7 days, RBIs in 8 straight games. Defense is always gonna be there. Toughness is always gonna be there. Um, Middle of the order guy, one of the best players in baseball. But overall, it's just good to see him kind of shake out of where he's been. I was kind of getting sick of seeing his OPS BF in the 500s. So for him to bring it all the way up to I think it's like mid 700s right now within like 2 weeks is great to see. But, we all know he has that potential. When he's hot, he's hot. So, um, yeah, man, I'm gonna give him a five. I could have really gave a five to everybody for real, based on how I've been feeling about the team. But yeah, I'm gonna give him a five, man.
I mean, I'm right there with Gerald. I think, most people that watch Arenado know that his bat's always a slow start.
Yeah,
But he, finds a way to kick it in gear at some point during the year.
and doesn't stop.
Yeah, and
Doesn't
doesn't
stop.
stop. Like like you were saying, he stays in that OPS like 500 for like a month, and you're like, oh my god, is this going to be an off year for Arenado? And then by the end of the year, he's got 35 home runs, 110 RBIs, and you're like, nope, still, first ballot Hall of Fame Arenado that we all know and love.
Right.
So yeah, I'm right there at a five. I think he's finally kicked it into gear. I don't see uh, any signs of him slowing down or falling off of the level he's at now. So yeah.
Yeah, man, best third baseman on the planet. Fran, what you think?
Um, I think I'd have to agree with you guys. We're going triple fives for Nolan
Yeah.
Arenado. He last night he did hit his 1,000 career RBI, which is great
Oh
to
yeah.
see. Um,
Congratulations.
I don't know. I do know because he doesn't look uncomfortable at the plate anymore. It's not like he's
Yeah.
those like I don't know. I felt like those inside off-speed pitches used to get him a lot, especially like change-ups. It felt like he
The
was kind of
sliders
just
away.
swinging a little too much. But he looks confident. Um, he's not doing Addison's favorite swing anymore with the one-hand swing. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
still
had to
never
give him a
forget that
five.
thing.
Yeah, that swing that he was doing to start the season was killing me. Like it was a two-handed swing, right? Like a little get me over type swing. I think he was trying to take the ball to opposite field, which we all know like he's a pull hitter. And wants to get the ball in the air. He doesn't miss fastballs, so we know that. But yeah, man, just one of the best players in baseball.
Yeah, all right. Well, today we do have a game against the Dodgers, second game of the series. How are you guys looking at this game? We got Mats against Gonsolin. Gonsolin is a dog. Um,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a rough game, but hey, we hit Corbin Burns pretty good. So, what are you guys looking at
and
this game?
um, you know, my X factor for the game is gotta be Steven Matz. The offense has been there. We know what the offense is capable of, even if they might have a dry spell today because we did score 18 last night. So I guess they're bound to go out and score one, right? But um, like I said, I think Steven Matz is my X factor. Just seeing how he looks, not the most optimistic about how it will look, but just hoping that we can come out on the dub with the dub, on our home stadium. So yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, if Mats were to show me any, or if Mats was waiting for a time to show me why he deserves the contract we gave him, I really hope it's tonight.
yeah,
Um, or tomorrow. Yeah, no, tonight.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, like you said, Gonsolin's an absolute dog. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna be tough. But the offense is hot, so you know,
yeah. Kind of. When you looked at the preview of this series, you're like, oh boy, because last time we got swept by the Dodgers, and then you see them throw out Urias and Gonsolin, and I don't know who they have tomorrow, but um, you see that and you're like, oh boy, we're gonna get shut out. And then first game of the series, you see the Cardinals put up 18 runs. You're like, oh, gotta change my mind. So yeah, I'm curious to see what the offense does tonight, coming off of that many runs, and what the Dodgers do to adjust. But I think it'll be another good game tonight, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Something for me, I'd say as much as I would love Steven Matz to shut me up, I also need to see the the offense perform as well. As I've said, it feels like every time we score 10 plus, we kind of just plummet the next
Yeah,
game. Um, but yeah, I think the X factor is for me is the offense keeping it up. Like even though they are super hot right now, they you have to score at least 6 or 7 to win against the Dodgers, especially when you do have Matt on the mound. Um, so yeah, that's what I got for that game.
yeah, I'm right there with you.
All right. I think that will wrap up this episode. Thank you everybody for coming again and listening to us once again about the Cardinals. It's great to be a Cardinals
Yeah,
fan right now, uh,
yeah,
especially when we're beating good teams like the Brewers and the Dodgers. It's very nice to see. Um, so yeah. Uh,
yeah.
Anything else to add, fellas?
Just thank you for the support. Kind of been paying attention to the analytics on the podcast. Seeing people support, that's great. I love to see that. Like you said, it's a good time to be a Cardinals fan right now. So hopefully the podcast will stay good for you guys. The quality of the podcast will meet the quality of Cardinals play. So that's what we're hoping.
Yeah. Thank you, all you beautiful people, for listening in. And
Beautiful.
we will catch you guys next week. Thank you.